Happy holidays, everybody, and welcome back to our Holiday Cartridge Talks series. Mark on the mic here, Jim to my right, Mr. Ryan Muckenhern across from us.
Wait, yeah. What just happened?
Well,
you threw in the towel?
No, I didn't throw in the towel.
So pedestrian.
That was...
But I
also...
was, can I finish?
It's Christmas.
Can I finish?
Yeah, sure.
Happy holidays to you, Ryan, because in this cartridge talk, the cartridge we're going to talk about today is a lead balloon.
I see what he did there. I'm okay with it. All right.
He's
All right.
actually
Yeah,
setting it up.
okay.
He's setting it up to fail.
Yeah. Oh.
Hey, you didn't let me get there.
He's setting it up to fail.
Guys, we've got one in front of us right now, and I'd say we're lucky to have it. We're lucky. We're lucky we found some.
Yeah.
Very obscure on the old interweb. You go to try and find this one out of stock, and frankly, I don't know if it's coming back in stock.
No, nobody wants. I don't even think people who actually have it in their warehouse will admit that they have it in stock.
Thank goodness our very own Mike Tussle,
Yeah.
his father, has a rifle chambered for this cartridge. And I asked Mike, I said, when you go home for Thanksgiving, can you retrieve some and bring them back for us? And that's exactly what he did. He came through. And we're coming through the airwaves here with a cartridge talk on the 243 WSSM. Wisdom. Not
Another
S&M,
instance where more was not necessarily better. We didn't need another S.
It's like more, but also less.
Yeah.
Like, this was, the short action cartridge thing had gained some steam. People were kind of into it. And they said, we need more shorter. We need more less.
I'll be honest. I don't think anybody asked for it. I don't think anybody wrote a letter. It's like, can you make it?
It's like a child. It's like you tasked a child to draw a 6 arc, but the child still was so young they didn't really understand proportions or anything yet, and they just remember seeing, like the case body and then a bullet on top, and they just drew the case body like really, really big.
Where I'm going with my previous comment, and maybe it just doesn't hold any weight, Ryan, is that they were capitalizing on some... I'm not saying people asked for it. They were capitalizing on some steam of the momentum of, maybe modern cartridges are going to be like this. Like if this style of cartridge is the next evolution of cartridges overall, which I'll say in some ways not super wrong. Like when you look
too
at
much
some,
oversteer on
when
that.
you look at some cartridges that we're seeing come out with a lot of steam being very in vogue today, we've talked about it a lot lately. 6 arc, 22 arc, 330 arc, very short, very fat, very small cartridge.
Look, you can't use the term very fat like when you reference those cartridges when this exists. What do you call this?
It's nearly a sphere.
Ryan, this one didn't do well.
No, it did not.
It didn't last long.
No, it did not.
And frankly, looking at the numbers that it kicks out, it really didn't do anything different than the 243. A little bit faster. I think in my readings, maybe 10%.
Oh,
wow.
No, 10% is far too gratuitous.
Right. That's why I said maybe.
So in my humble opinion, this is a problem seeking a solution. It's not even a solution seeking a problem. It is
a problem asking to be helped.
And Mark, you hit on every point correctly. It was riding the fanfare of the Winchester short magnum craze, the Remington short action ultra magnum phase and craze. And like I said, they pivoted a little too hard. Believe it or not, I was on the phone yesterday with a customer. West Virginia has one.
Okay.
Was looking for a scope for it. And I asked him, how'd you come upon this rifle? He goes, man, it was such a good deal. Had 2 boxes of ammo. Had a different scope on there. He's like, wouldn't you know it, I can't find ammo. And he goes, I'm getting into reloading so that I can shoot this gun.
Oh no.
and yeah, I mean that's an ordeal.
Gets good deal on rifle, proceeds to spend thousands of dollars on reloading equipment to make it run.
So this cartridge was one of 3 in a series, 223, 243, and 25.
25, yeah.
The idea was we are going to take this short format cartridge and emulate the ballistics of the quote long format variant of it. And what we're talking about is 243 Winchester in this case.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended. And that's not a big cartridge. I'm looking on the wall. I thought we did 243.
Yeah, we did
We've
we did a
gotta have a
243 podcast.
No, you made me give it back to Bill.
Oh, it's because it was my ammo and I never got the box back. So
Well, then it should still
There's
be
none
here.
up there.
it's probably in Mark's drawer of stuff that he's acquiesced. Point is, it offers effectively 0% increase of ballistic performance over its very dated, aged, and functional counterpart, the 243 Winchester. And maybe they were gunning for something a little bit more. Maybe they were thinking like, oh, we'll approach 240 Weatherby performance. No, we didn't get there. And aside from the proprietary nature of the ammunition and eclectic design, which is a very short, very chubby, and rotund case, the rifle systems themselves were plagued with some issues as well, namely feeding.
I was going to say, now, I heard feeding issues off the go. Were they ever solved?
Not that I'm aware of. The 223 was the worst. The 243 was slightly better. I did sell and knew some guys that had 25 WSSMs. That seemed to work okay. The best example is the Browning A-Bolt, which Mark wanted to make sure we had a magazine. And it is one of the cutest magazines. If it was longer, I would hold it.
I don't find it cute.
If just imagine if it had long curvature, you'd think it's like a CZ Scorpion mag or a
Yeah.
Oh, that's what when I first saw it, I go, this thing
Some sort of
looks like
pistol mag.
it belongs in a 22, or
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the problem is when you make a cartridge really chubby and short, you're trying to feed a square.
Yes.
And it's not super easy to do.
Which is why it makes sense that the bigger the bullet got, the better it got at feeding.
It
because you're
gave
just getting
itself.
it at least a little closer to like a straight wall.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, I don't know what to even say about the poor little devil because it tried and it just didn't. And now, you know, it's funny because we went through like some ebb and flow with the ammo thing. At one time when it was new, there was ammunition availability and people would buy 2-3 boxes, you know, what they presumed to be a lifetime supply. And then the rifles were discontinued, the chamberings were discontinued, and then all the retailers were like, well, we got all this ammo for this gun that didn't sell. Let's blow it out for nothing. And that's how Mike ended up with a bunch of ammo for it.
Which he made a good decision
He did, yeah.
because otherwise,
And it's like blown out on Notches and Midway and Brownells and all the big firearms, ammunition components, accessories, retailers.
no, I'd say like I think they quit making the ammo in 2016.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not yesterday.
No. We're almost a decade from there. And when it was on closeout, like the Winchester, the combined technology stuff, actually is this pre-CT stamping I see in there. That stuff was expensive when it was new. Like it was premium ammunition. And so we're talking circa 2006, 7, 8 when this thing was around. And that was like almost $50 box of cartridges, which is nuts. And then it was on closeout, blowout, and everybody who had one that wanted them bought it. And then those folks that didn't were left holding the bag because they're like, I can't get ammo for it. Now, you could make ammunition for it. And there's actually a couple outfits that are still doing brass conversion from standard WSSM. But it is a very involved process because we're taking a case that's already extremely robust and we're doing a multi-stage, it's probably like a 5-stage step down to get to, and a cut down to get to this. And then you end up having so much meat at the neck that you have to neck turn or your chamber has to be cut to facilitate it. And it's a bummer, right? Because again, I think the concept was sound. The execution was flawed. What's really interesting to me, though, is a couple of the Wildcats that came out of the WSSM lineage that actually were pretty impressive cartridges. Olympic Arms had a few that were really neat. One of them was the 300 Olympic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which was nothing more than the WSSM opened up to 30 caliber. That thing held some weight. I mean, that was a legit demon of a cartridge.
Obviously, we don't have one here, but I can picture it.
Yeah.
And like it's starting to make a little more sense.
Yes, it's proportionate. There was some 375, 416, and 458 variants as well that were far more obscure that guys were monkeying with. And I can remember in the infancy of the internet and going on some of the like the hand loader forums and the hunting forums and reading about guys that had come up with these, and they put up some pretty spectacular numbers considering the diminutive size of this case. One that caught my eye, I went through a phase where I almost got a 264 Win Mag in an Encore, so that'll tell you where I was at in my life.
Man.
Yeah, I know. Dark place.
It's a dark place. I think we figured out that whole holidays thing.
Yeah, you didn't have to bring it up and everybody.
There was a Wildcat called the 6.5 Coyote, which was nothing more than the 25 necked up 2.65. And that thing pushed a 140 AMAX at an honest and easy 3,000 feet per second.
Okay.
So stack that up against some cartridges today that people are pretty bananas about, 6.5 BRC. And boy, howdy, that worked pretty good. And I there was a fleeting moment where I thought, that's the tool I need. I didn't do it.
It's asking for a bigger bullet.
It is.
That's
it
the
is.
thing.
Yeah.
And when you put in, you said there was a 223 WSSM?
Yeah, 223 WSSM.
Yeah, that
Even
thing was
worse.
cooking the 55 grainers above 4K.
Getting there. Yeah.
At least that's what I was
Whether it
seeing.
produced it or not is the debate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what about hearing that this would function in an AR?
Sure. Maybe. If you had a very proprietary bolt, modified upper, heavily modified magazines, correct buffer weight, and an adjusted gas system.
Yeah, see, simple.
Right.
Yeah, nothing to it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what the Olympic situation was. Because Oli was also doing the 300 Olympic. And
Sure, and that's obviously
yep.
AR.
But a heavily modified system. And yeah, I mean it was gone before it got here. And that is one of the leadest balloons that we have
A lot of lead.
done.
Well, and then
I
look
can't
at
even. It's just
Jim,
hard.
this is like wool to you.
It's hard to look at.
so this is the
We all knew this kid in middle school.
these are 100 grain PowerPoints.
Yeah. Yep.
And this is the 243 WSSM ammo box posted 3110.
Sure.
Okay, that's cool, right? And then this is just off the website, 243, 100 grain PowerPoints, box posted velocity of 2960. It's just not that much different.
No.
Now, here's where I can be a hypocrite, though. And I'm not bringing this up to like argue for it, and like I'm annoying myself because like I'm like, oh, I love the 300 WSM. Ballistically, it is the same as in some ways I would say it's even less of a difference than a 300 Win Mag.
Yeah. Maybe.
I don't know. So like I guess like I can be a fan of this, but I'm not like. But I can turn around and be like, no, there's no reason for that. It's the same thing. It's just shorter and fat.
There's too much pivot here.
Now I will say
Both the 300 WSM and the 300 Win Mag work.
That's a big point of distinction.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I was trying to be, I guess unbiased.
Yeah. I knew where your intention was at, Mark, and I appreciate it. It was warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just trying to eliminate negativity.
Hates negativity.
Do not care for it. No, it's just when it's about me.
Right.
So here's the deal, though. It is a very strong case. And when I have talked to a couple of folks, very few and far between, that own and love the cartridge, they're on like their 10th reload.
Yeah.
And life is good.
It has to be strong. I mean, just looking at it, you could just tell it's built. It's a
built.
sphere almost. Yeah. Spheres are strong.
They are.
I mean, they are. You're right. The arch. Think of an arch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Was there a 243 WSM?
No.
There was not?
No.
So we never got to know what it would be like if it was a little longer?
Nope.
It'd probably be kind of the same, wouldn't it?
No, that thing would be a scorched earth
I mean, that would be like
laser.
I was thinking about that prior to this podcast too. I'm like, well, what if we just neck down the regular one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's 6.5 Wisms. That's a demon. And actually, you know, if we look at a 6.5 PRC, 6.5 PRC basically is it's a 6.5 short action ultra mag, which is almost a Wism.
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
But then, like Weatherby has their 6.5 300. So why not a 6.5 300?
No good reason.
I don't know. I mean, the 6.5 BC is not. It's kind of like that.
It's wildly overboard. That is correct. This is wildly overboard. But I mean overboard, like, get that thing off the ship. It's, you know, I mean.
like, oh, we ran out of life rafts.
There's a whole stack of them.
It's too
Just
far.
those are reserved.
The deck's a little
So-
slippery. I don't want to fall.
Yeah, I'm sorry, folks. There's just not that much to say about it. It is one of the most abysmal failures in modern cartridge design.
Now, silver lining.
Okay.
If you've got a rifle and it works, it's certainly not going to not do what you want it to do.
No, it'll kill things you pointed at.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Conserve your ammunition.
I was going to say, you just have to have the fuel to put in it.
That's right.
Which in my online searchings was not easy to find. I think I did find some, but it was more of kind of like a boutique type ammo shop.
Yeah.
And you could get them. And it came with a little bit of a price tag as well.
Yeah. But man, is there a lot, like if you're out there and you're looking for something that's old and obscure, not that old, but like, you know, oldish, obscure, and you just want to be like weird and like, oh, maybe I can like bring this back. I don't think this is it. I think there's other stuff.
If you really want to work hard to make your gun go bang, there's better options. Won't require less work. It's there's better options.
What will happen in the end will be better. That was easy.
Now I've heard, and maybe it warrants its own podcast. Maybe we'll let the people decide. But I did, in my readings, what I could infer was the 223 WSSM, out of all of them, had the most merit.
25 is pretty special.
So you think the 25?
If I had to pick one,
pick of the litter.
Yeah, I mean, because
Nah, they're all runts. I'll take this one.
22-250
Right.
answers the problem. That is, 25 WSSM effectively emulated 25-06, but it did it in that size case, and it had the best prospect for feeding reliably. Late great Al Brinkman, a customer of mine who I love very dearly, he loved 25 super short. Loved second rifle. First one didn't feed. Second one did.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe there was a little,
Yep.
you know.
That one was the best, but that's not saying much. Because you know what feeds really good? 25-06. It's like an asparagus sprig going right in.
I'm trying to think. I don't think we missed anything. I don't think we left anything on the table here.
Ain't much there, Mark.
That's fine. Honestly, I'd rather get it off the table.
Jim does not.
Jim's getting nauseous.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Read those closing comments. I'm sure that'll be a great bow on this one.
Well, I just want to
Cite
this
the
is
article.
from Web's Terminal Ballistic Research.
Oh, these guys are good.
I'm just going to read these comments. I haven't read them before. In closing,
Yeah, these guys are good.
the 243 WSSM does not break any new ground as far as exterior or terminal ballistics is concerned. This cartridge basically duplicates what other cartridges have been producing for many decades. The true virtue of the 243 WSSM is the potential, well, there was two W's, is the potential for scaled down rifles. Oh, we didn't touch on that. Very short action.
Well, let me tell you this question, Mark. You will never see sadness in a user's eyes until the user brings you a Browning A-Bolt Micro in 243 WSSM in hopes that you have an EGW Picatinny rail in stock that just simply doesn't fit the gun. Because
that would happen.
What good is that tiny little micro action if you can't feed around into the chamber?
There are other options. I'm just saying, okay, was there some potential, again, not the biggest market, but for like super lightweight, maybe short.
Save 3 ounces.
What about for use? Could you build a rifle around it that would be optimal for a youth because of that shorter action? Okay. Okay, we'll scratch that off.
That doesn't make any sense.
Unfortunately, the WSSMs were perhaps marketed incorrectly. The Winchester and current Browning rifles really need a shorter than normal buttstock, adjustable to suit all members of the family of hunters. The WSSMs could well have been the ideal youth or family rifle. Instead, the 243 WSSM and its kin have rapidly faded into obscurity. In summary, everything that we just said.
Yep.
Well,
they are the panda bear of cartridges.
What is wrong with a panda bear?
The only reason they're alive is because we allow them to be.
Yeah, but that's also maybe because of us a little bit too.
No.
I'm not a panda expert.
They wouldn't have made it.
Panda Express expert. All right. If you need any recommendations, let me know. Boy, that's always... No, I've done it, and I've never suffered, so I don't want to, disparage the Panda Express, because I've done it, where you're in the airport, and you're like, I'm going to go for it.
I'm going to do it.
But then there's that little thing in the back of your head, you feel like you're rolling the dice a little bit.
Because you're like, I'm about to be on an airplane with a lot of other people. Right.
But I think there's enough salt it's going to kill anything that's in there. Nothing again. I've got nothing to say or nothing negative to say about the Pan Express. So I don't want people to think that.
You got a 243 Wisdom Wildcat? That's interesting. I'd like to know more.
Let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have one of these? Do you agree with us? Do you vehemently disagree? Like you said, have you done something cool with it? Let us know in the comments below. It is an interesting one. Happy holidays, everybody. What are you laughing about?
It's just, I don't know what there's to say.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
We'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.